Part 2 of this mini series, we have this John Deere LT155, and we completed the battery. Now we're moving on to the carburetor. I went online, typed in this number here, this CV15S, and then it gave me a replacement, CV14S, 15S. Excuse me. So this particular carburetor had really good reviews, so I went ahead and ordered it. Now we'll kind of see what's in the box. See what we're working with here. Looks like they gave us 2 new seals, which is nice. And they bubble wrap the carburetor real nice. Before I ordered this one, I actually checked it out and looked underneath at the old carburetor to make sure it didn't have that electric solenoid like some carburetors have. Sometimes at the end of the bowl there's like something that you plug in, but this particular tractor on the other side has like an electronic fuel pump, and that's what they gave us. This one's been leaking. You can see this tractor hasn't run in years. It was dumped off here, and I'm going to see if I can get it going. So there's our seals. There's our... I thought if a guy ran a new battery, some new fuel lines, a carburetor, seems like it has compression, so we'll check the oil and things like that, but I think we can get it going. Most of these kind of carburetors, you need like a 10 millimeter, so that's what we'll grab now, and we'll just kind of work our way into it. But this is an LT155 John Deere, and we're going to attempt to put the carburetor on it. And I got this new recorder holder, so I'm trying to get used to it, so bear with me. Let's see here. Let's take this nut off. It actually has a fuel line that needs replaced too, and I have an old MTD gas tank that I hooked the line to, so might be an ingenious way to get gas to this thing until I get the rear gas tank fixed. I just need to check it out and make sure everything's okay with it, like make sure it doesn't leak and stuff like that, you know. So this has a hose that hooks onto it, and as you can see right here, a guy should replace this. I should see what kind of hose this is, but look at that. You got cracks right here. There's 3 of them right there. So that could, you know, contribute to rough idle, you know, stuff like that. This looks like a, oh wow. Usually you'd have to like hook like an 8 millimeter up to these bolts and kind of screw them out, but this particular carburetor seems to be loose already. And then this plastic piece holds it all together. Amazing. That's our choke right there. Let's see if we can ease this off here. So somebody's already been in here. See if we can move these down a little more. Get them out of our way. Get a screwdriver or something and kind of just pry some stuff. There she is. Get that line off there, and then this carburetor should be pretty free. But for testing purposes, like, we should replace this little piece of line here and this line here. But I'm really excited to see if this engine even runs. So I'm just going to take this off here. Kind of grab my new carburetor as I go. And just see. I want to put the new gaskets on. Let's see here. Just make sure everything's cleaned up. It's really dirty. So we have a new gasket in the back. There's no gasket on there right now, so any parts we put on this thing will be a plus. There's a bigger gasket here. Imagine that goes on. And then this goes on the front side. No gaskets to be seen on the old setup, so. And then this thing here, I don't know if this thing pops off or, there we go. Wonder why that was even there. Seems like really high. If we take that off, we might. Let's just see if we get some clearance there. So let's peel it off here. Slide our new gasket on. There we go, new gasket. And then kind of work these out. There's one here. And then here's one there. So the old carburetor's off. We'll throw it on the ground for now. This was the choke. Work that in. And then since I got that situated, I'll just put this back because it didn't seem like it was. I thought maybe we might have to go over top of it, but it fit right there. And it opens and closes. So we'll leave that cap on. One thing I am noticing with this new carburetor is at the very top, it's got a huge hole in it. And they didn't give us another one, so this little piece here, just a little white piece, we'll see if we can reuse this one. There it is right there. See, now you can see how big that hole is. Just slide it in. You just kind of want to make sure everything looks the same. There we go. And then now we'll work our throttle into that hole, make the corner, and then what we want to do is kind of just work it back on these studs here, and then just kind of push it back to where it was before. The only difference is we have a gasket that's helping us out now. So a good idea would be to throw the front gasket on so it seals everything up really nice. So there's our front gasket, and now we have no extra parts in our box, which is a plus. I always like that. And then just for fun, I want to see if I push this up, if the car, yep, it chokes it, and you can kind of see it open and closes right there. And then whenever I idle down, you could see it pushed it down. But that's all, this is all automatic based on if the motor is running, so it'll adjust all that on its own, but at least we could see some functionality out of it. So we're at the point now where we can throw this line on here. It's kind of, this I'm going to replace, and I'm going to replace this later, but just for today, just to see if she runs, we'll slide these back in place. There it is. And then one over here to the right. they're kind of stuck together, but we can figure it out. We'll replace all that. It's put on there pretty tight. It'd have been nice for all that to fit together, but in the meantime, we got this one on real nice. Hopefully it doesn't leak. And we're off to bigger and better things. Like bolting this back up. And then you just put your 2 nuts back on. Now, I wouldn't kill them putting all this back together because I'm kind of just testing. I do have a couple hoses to replace here after seeing some dry rot. But that just it lines up with what this thing is. It's just been a tractor. It's been sitting around for a long time. The hoses are good enough to do a test. So that's what we'll do. There we go. So everything's tight. And that's what I promised, was to get a carburetor on. But we'll do some testing here. Earlier I put the fuel filter and, not the fuel filter, but the air filter and box in the back there. This needs replaced. I need to order another filter. I would say that one's shot. You can kind of tell by looking at this stuff, like, you don't even have to guess. You just know that it has, like, it looks like it has a little oil, a little dirt. And with some of these carburetors, especially, once they get older and stuff, sometimes they allow, like, gas to leak down the crankcase and into your oil, and it causes a bunch of smoking and stuff. So we're not going to use this long term, but for today, for testing purposes, we're going to throw a little gas in it. We got our new battery in from video 1, video 2. We did the carburetor, and then we have a fuel issue with the line, but I have an old MTD gas tank that I hooked the line to. So I'm just going to throw a little gas in that tank there and see if this tractor even runs. And then once we figure out that it runs, we can put our new 4-foot something gas line in with our shutoff valve and our filter, and replace these 2 pieces of line and that air filter, and possibly give it an oil change. Anyway, we'll worry about all that in the next video. In the meantime, I added some gas into that gas tank from the MTD because the rear gas tank's missing. Remember, we're just doing a test. We want to see if we can get this tractor running. So we did our battery, we did our carburetor. Hasn't run in a few years, and it's going to need another video for the 4-foot gas tank line and the installation of the gas tank, and just like to clean it up and replace the hoses and everything we talked about before. So we're going to choke it, and we're going to see if it'll start. Hopefully we don't catch fire. That's a good sign. Might be a little dry. Let's just keep going here. Maybe it's priming itself. There we go. Turn it down a little bit. Well, we know it runs. We just have to adjust that throttle. But how exciting. We have positive news. Did smoke a little bit, but that's to be expected. In the next video, we'll tidy everything up and we'll pressure wash and get everything ready to go. You've been watching Tractor Adventures. Thank you for watching.